now time for Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370. He's taking your calls live at 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-5483. And now here's Bill Swail.
Well, my hero, Emily Mayers, is on the phone. Emily Mayers with Urban Roots. Are you with us?
I am with you. Hi.
There we go. Okay, I'm glad.
Hi, Emily.
I'm glad you're with us. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah. What a great program y'all have.
Well, thank you so much.
Because you're training and empowering young people, the youth of our nation, the future of our nation, really. And you're also providing good nutrition, aren't you?
Yes, that's absolutely right. We work with young people on our farm in East Austin to provide leadership opportunities for them and then grow food for the community.
Mm-hmm. So Urban Roots, ATX.org. Is that the website, the best website to go to?
Yep, that's our website.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like you can join. They say join the Urban Roots CSA today.
Yes.
CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. Right?
Yep, that's right. It's essentially a subscription service for veggies. You can sign up and get a share of vegetables every week that you pick up either from our farm or one of our locations around town. And it runs through July, so there's still opportunity for folks to sign up if they're interested.
And just go to the website, and they'll direct you to. In fact, they got good directions to the farm out there off of 183.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. Everything you need to know is on our website.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Urban Roots ATX, AustinTexas.org is where you go. So what's coming up that we want to talk about today?
Well, we have all sorts of things coming up. We're fortunate to have some really phenomenal partners in the community that are throwing a variety of events to benefit us this month. So we've kind of been joking like, the places you'll grow. There's lots of different ways, if you love Urban Roots, to come out and support us this month. First off, we have an open house on Tuesday on our farm that we're going to have, rain or shine. So if folks want to come out and see us, they're welcome to do that. That information is also on our website. Tuesday at 6 p.m., they can come see the magic of the farm in person.
So it's just an hour and a half, 6 to 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, pretty quick and dirty. We'll get you in and out, but show you what's going on with us and our young interns and our fields.
Wait a minute, quick and dirty. Does that mean that people are going to dig in the soil a little bit with their hands? Down
just
and
quickly.
Down and dirty, right? No, I know what you mean. That's cool. That's cool.
What is the crawfish boil that's coming up?
Yeah, we've got a crawfish boil coming up. Lenoir is hosting their 4th annual charity crawfish boil. It's benefiting us and our friends at Springdale Farm, and that's actually where the event's being held this Sunday, the 29th, from noon to 4. And the proceeds come back to, again, us in Springdale. It's all you can eat crawfish. You can't find a better deal or a better party. So that is also on our site.
How much do they charge for that?
Our tickets are $40, I believe, if you buy them ahead of time right now online. Or there's also a VIP ticket option where you get to come early a little bit and have a dedicated area where you'll have servers bringing you your crawfish and all your goodies. So there's the VIP is for $75.
Okay, so is 2 tickets, you say, or 1 ticket for $40? One ticket for $40. Well, it's for a good cause.
It is for a good cause, and it's all you can eat. So
well, you definitely are vegan, then, I can tell. And that's okay. You grow vegetables, but you do have probably milk.
We can appreciate all kinds of food.
Right. Oh, sure. Yeah. Are they good, clean crawfish like the vegetables?
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Only the best, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's cool.
Only the best for supporters. Yeah, so that's really exciting. That's coming up. Let's see, what else do we have going on? We're also partnering with Snooze AM Eatery is throwing a breakfast party for us on Friday, one of their soft openings. They're new to town. So we'll actually get info up on our website later today. People can come have a free breakfast and make a donation to Urban Roots on Friday from 8 to 1. So,
every Friday from 8 to 1?
Not every Friday, just this coming Friday.
I got you, just this coming Friday.
Uh-huh.
Okay, great.
Notice that a lot of our events do revolve around good food of all sorts.
Well, yeah, I'm sure I'll do a good job. How much is the breakfast?
It's free, but you'll be asked if you want to make a donation to us in lieu of having to pay for it.
Well, just so people know, because it is a great organization you've got there, and the kids are learning a lot, and they actually can make a little money, can't they?
The youth do. It is a paid internship for them.
Okay.
So, we like to teach them the value of hard work, and part of that is letting them earn some money while they do it.
Well, you've got this little land out there. How much land do you have out there off of 183?
Yeah, so we're
farm.
located off of Ball Road and 183. We have about 3.5 acres of farmland out there. And on that land, we grow about 25,000 pounds of food each year. So we do a lot with a little bit of space.
Wow. If somebody's listening and you got some land around town, maybe you ought to donate some land to them. They could do more, couldn't they?
That's right.
We would love to chat with anyone who might have some land they want to give us. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm sure y'all could make that happen. So, but it's a great program you have because you got a free breakfast. Is it this coming Friday, 8 to 1?
This coming Friday. Uh-huh.
Or Saturday or Friday?
Friday.
Friday.
And then Sunday, Sunday is the crawfish boil.
Okay. Crawfish.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever had. I've never had crawfish.
You never had any?
I've never had any crawfish.
Oh, they're good.
Wow, you're missing out. You should come out and see us for sure.
Yeah.
Pinching and a squeezing.
Exactly. You gotta work for them a little bit, but they're worth it.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting when certain fish came out, that nobody wanted to eat it, and now it's extremely expensive.
Oh yeah.
It is, like lobster was nobody wanted to eat lobster.
Yeah.
They just think, but now you got restaurants serving lobster, and lobster is very expensive. And I guess this is not too. Does it taste like lobster, or does it have a good taste to it? Crawfish.
It's kind of not like lobster, but then again, I suppose maybe a little bit like a shrimp, but mostly it's the boil, and the boil is usually hot, and they put like corn and potatoes in it too, and then a bag of spices, and yeah, that's good stuff. Pour it on the picnic table. Cool. It's a Cajun thing.
Cajun. Well, everybody's going to have a good time, meet other people. That's the great thing about it. And you got a worthy cause. And
thank you very much.
You got a picture on your website, and these young people look like they're having so much fun.
They have a lot of fun. They work really hard, but they also get to build friendships, and they get to build connections with the community. We try to have a good time with everything that we do. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So April 2nd through July 16th is when you've got a lot going on. Then I guess it gets too hot or whatever to grow much or dry.
Yeah, so we're really in the height of our growing season right now. We'll keep planting and pulling all sorts of harvests out of our farm until July, and then we take a little break in August because it does just get really warm at that point. We kind of take a little rest before we start back up with our programming and our planting again in the fall. So right now is a great time to come see us. Our fields are full. We have everything from potatoes to onions to greens to beets and garlic, all sorts, dozens and dozens of crops that I can't even name them all.
And you can walk in your fields. I guess it's kind of muddy, isn't it?
It's a little muddy right now. The rain has been very plentiful, which, our crops need, but it makes things a little bit messy out there. We do have volunteer days 3 times a week where folks are welcome to come out and work in our fields with us. And then we try to send you home with some veggies at the end of the day to thank you for your work. So if folks want to come out that way, that's also an opportunity. We need lots of help. We have a small staff, and we rely on about 1,000 volunteers every year to make this magic happen. So we're always looking for extra hands.
We could just go on and on. This is fun talking to you. But Tuesday, the 24th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., you got open house.
We do.
Okay.
At our farm.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's just so people have to look at it, right? And you can go to the website. It's not that hard to find. Baum Road.
Nope.
Off of 183 North. So good directions is given. And then the big thing is the catfish. I mean, not catfish. Crawfish. There's a difference. Mm-hmm. The crawfish.
Big difference there.
Right. So, yeah.
Well, crawfish is not fried, so it's boiled.
Always boiled.
Yeah, so you don't get the the breading is not there, so it's better
so
for
just
you.
Really, so it's pretty healthy then.
Yeah.
It is. It's healthy. It's healthy.
It is good. It is good for you. Good protein.
And you'll get good vegetables, too. They're fresh vegetables.
Yep.
I'm sure all your vegetables are organic, right?
So we're not certified organic, but everything is done by hand and without chemicals. So it's done with only the utmost love and care.
Yeah. I was raised on a farm, and we never used chemicals, but, boy, our fingers did the walking. We were squashing squash bugs with our fingers.
Absolutely.
Are y'all working your way to be a USDA certified? I know it takes, 6-7 years or so before you can even get certification.
Great question. I don't think that's on the horizon for us right now. We just do everything with as much integrity and as homegrown and close to nature as we can.
You're essentially organic anyway, but yeah.
Yeah. Yep. We just do it with as close to nature as possible.
Yeah.
So
I just visited a farm up in Wisconsin a weekend ago, and they are USDA certified 650 acres or so. And boy, it's a lot of work to stay certified. You really have to work hard. Have to make sure the
soil. A lot of paperwork, I guess.
A lot of paperwork, a lot of testing. The soil, the USDA comes out and checks and checks.
I guess that's good, though.
It's good. It's good, but it's a lot of work and a lot of
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cost.
Farming on its own is a lot of work, so we stick to that part of it.
Yeah.
Well, Amy, we got to run. It's just been such a pleasure. And people go to the website. The website is the big thing. Urban Roots
ATX.
Or ATX.
UrbanRootsATX.org.
ATX.org.
Yeah.
O-R-G. Urban Roots ATX.
Yes.
Well, thanks again, and good luck with what you're doing. We got to get you back on sometime.
Sounds great. I'd love to come back. Thank y'all so much.
Okay, Amy, thank you. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, let's take a break, and we'll be right back. And we got Dr. Christine Horner with us today. Radiant Health, Ageless Beauty. And you're going to love this lady, and she's very well known all over the nation. So let's take a break. We'll be right back.
More cutting-edge health information is right around the corner. You're listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370. Brought to you by Peoples, Austin's favorite pharmacy. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370. Brought to you by Peoples, Austin's favorite pharmacy. Call us live at 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-5483.
Well, welcome back to the show. This is Bill Swail, and we have Dr. Christine Horner with us today. Dr. Horner?
Yes.
What a pleasure having you on the show. Boy, you are known nationally. First as a surgeon. You were a good plastic surgeon, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, and then you saw all these women on the shows, and they had using cosmetics and a much better way easier way, and probably better for the body to take care of the body with nutrition and what have you, and maybe avoid plastic surgery. So you did you give your practice just to follow what you believed in?
That's exactly right. So I actually left my practice over a dozen years ago because, I was watching in my practice, my patients were getting sicker and I had having to do breast reconstruction on women in their 20s for breast cancer, and then, just the general health of my patients. And so that really, caused me to take a look at why is this happening, and it led me into the area of natural health. And I really discovered that eating the proper foods, which, I had absolutely no training of that or in nutrition course or anything, in medical school, but really helping the body to be as healthy as it possibly can is the secret really to extraordinary health and ageless beauty.
You're right. You're so right. My coach today is Dr. Ray Jimenez with an X. I don't know where he gets H out of X, but anyway, that's right. Ray Jimenez. R-E-Y, and he is very well known here in Austin. But he was anesthesiologist before he gave that up, because he's putting people to sleep, and he says, I need to wake them up a little bit. What's going on? Which is what you're doing, right?
That's right.
Right. Because there are always better ways a lot of times to do things.
Yeah, it's funny how it's the simplest things that make the biggest difference. You know?
Yeah,
Sometimes.
it really is. And, I got trained in the system of medicine called Ayurveda, which is the traditional system of medicine from India, and based on just kind of fundamental principles and natural laws that govern us as human beings. But, one of the things I always say about it is it's deceptively simple, but amazingly profound.
Yeah. Yep. Do you all use the detoxes like panchakarma and that sort of thing?
Right, yeah. So actually, that was my first introduction to Ayurveda, as I went to one of the detox clinics that they have called Panchakarma, which is 5,000-year-old system of getting toxins out of your body using lots of oils and heat treatments and massages and everything. And after being there for about 48 hours, I looked in the mirror and I looked 10 years younger and never felt better in my life. And that's when I was like, oh my God, these people really know something. So I just delved in and learned as much as I could about Ayurveda and got certified in it. And then, decided, hey, this is really my passion, is teaching people how to become and stay healthy naturally and avoid the knife.
Right. Well, curcumin is one of the mainstays of their practice, right? What they eat and what have you.
Well,
Curcumin?
they have tons and tons and tons of different, herbs and spices, but definitely one of the things that they recommend is that you cook your foods with spices, because they're things that can not only enhance digestion, but also have just tons of different medicinal qualities, to them. So definitely turmeric, is one of them that is, recommended for virtually everybody, to take every day. Another thing that we really focus on is trying to keep the immune system strong, because that's the thing that we know with aging, it becomes less strong and puts us more subjected to developing different kinds of chronic diseases, and so keeping the immune system strong is one of the aspects of slowing aging. And there's no other food actually that is more supportive of the immune system than mushrooms. So medicinal mushrooms have all sorts of different properties that work on the immune system to keep it healthy. And the whole idea sometimes with these things is that you can't possibly eat therapeutic doses of medicinal mushrooms every day, or even, that of turmeric. And so that's when it makes sense to actually take a supplement so that you can get the medicines from, the turmeric or the medicinal mushrooms, every single day. So, for instance, I recommend a mushroom formula called AHCC, which stands for active hexose correlated compound, which is why we call it AHCC. But it's out of Japan. They've done hundreds of studies on it, found that it helps to support every single cell type in the immune system. So it lowers the risk of many different kinds of cancers. And it also has some antibacterial and antiviral properties to it, too, even killing off the HPV virus, that we know that potentially can cause cervical cancer. So, that's like a simple thing to do. The other thing is to really concentrate on foods that have very dense nutrients in them. And they have a term for them now called superfoods. And so superfoods, in general, have very strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties in them, kind of as a baseline. And then each one of them also has its kind of own unique active molecules. So most of them have what we call polyphenols that are the active molecules. And they have very specific types of medicines that are contained in them. And so, part of the things that we see with aging is that our cells and our tissues kind of start to deteriorate from damage from the oxygen-free radicals as well as the inflammation. So you counteract it by doing these, superfoods. Most people have heard of like acai or goji berries. I discovered one recently that's a lychee fruit, which is from Asia. And it's got a active polyphenol in it called oligonol. And oligonol actually has been found to have many different kinds of anti-aging properties to it, including helping to protect against ultraviolet radiation damage to the skin and helping to keep the collagen and elastin fibrils stronger, so you actually have less wrinkling and less skin aging with it, too.
And what was that product again?
It's called, the lychee fruit. So it's
lychee.
Lychee, Lychee, and it's, like I said, from Asia. And then the active polyphenol in it is called oligonol, and that one you can actually get as a supplement, too, so that you can capture all those medicinal qualities and anti-aging properties.
Mm-hmm. The lychee fruit's actually pretty good. I mean, you can get that from southern China. You can buy it in a little thing, and you see people eating it just on the train.
Right, yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we go from exotic things, but actually kind of, very ordinary things like vitamin D, for instance. Mm-hmm. We found that vitamin D acts like a hormone in our body, and there's thousands of interactions it has with our genes, and we find almost invariably every single disease state that you can think of, there's low vitamin D levels associated with it. And we've kind of found that the vast majority of Americans have low levels of vitamin D. So by taking supplemental vitamin D3 as the active form, you can help to counteract your risk of developing, as I said, from cancers to arthritis to multiple sclerosis. I mean, you can just go on and on as far as all the effects that vitamin D, has. Now, the key thing is that there's really no way for you to know specifically how much vitamin D that you should be taking unless you have your blood levels checked, because we metabolize it. Everybody metabolizes it differently, and so one person may need thousands of more units than another person. And so the cool thing is that you actually don't have to go to a doctor's office to be able to check your vitamin D levels now. There's an organization, a website called the powerofd.org, and you can go on there and order a kit that's sent to you. It has the directions on it, but basically you're pricking your finger and putting a little drop of blood in there and send it off to the organization, and then they will check what your vitamin D levels are and let you know that. So that way you can kind of figure out, do I need to increase my levels, or not? And when you do that, you're actually participating in an international study that is collecting, these vitamin D levels and then kind of seeing how important vitamin D levels are in relationship to various different diseases.
Do you try to stay within the levels of D? I mean, our labs here, normal's 30 to 100. And
right.
Some people are pushing it up to 150, 175.
The healthiest levels that we see are really, higher than 30 is actually considered kind of low. So we're looking more in the levels of 50, 60 to 80, is pretty good. Now, what the research shows, though, interestingly, you can become toxic on vitamin D because it's a fat-soluble vitamins that will store in your fat cells and potentially get toxic. But the interesting thing is that actually documented symptoms of toxicity are incredibly rare, even in people who are taking, really large doses of vitamin D. So the threat that it has as far as really causing problems from too much is pretty low.
My understanding, too, is there's not ever been a reported case of toxicity with natural source like cod liver oil. Nobody's ever been toxic.
You can't overdose with the sun. Only your skin.
Vitamin A toxicity can happen with it, but vitamin D is more rare. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting we're talking about this, but this I just read recently this summer. I think Solgar is coming out with a skin protectant that protects you from the rays of the sun that cause lots of problems, cancer and wrinkling of the skin, but less vitamin D rays come in. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
They're using in Australia right now because they have a big problem down there with skin cancer.
Right.
But our FDA hadn't approved it yet, so we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and wait.
I keep waiting.
Yeah. I find it absolutely fascinating that vitamin D is in your body made by converting cholesterol. And we have lots and lots of people in this country that we actively suppress cholesterol production with drugs. Not to name any, but,
But I think we're starting, at least we're starting to hear more and more about, the cholesterol. We're all wrong about that one. I'm hearing it more in the news, and... that's not really the issue. It's inflammation.
There was the latest thing with the fats, that a lot of the data from the 60s and everything just really wasn't really that good because they weren't looking at the right fats.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah, we do. We get all sorts of misinformation out there that stays in the culture for decades and decades.
It's hard to change dogma.
It is, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a pharmacist, but I just admire doctors that do what y'all do, because y'all help so many people, and you're so knowledgeable. Dr. Jimenez is my doctor too, by the way, on the show with me today.
Right.
And it's, as you can tell, y'all just have so much knowledge about what people need.
Yeah, and it's really the source of true health. And like I said, when I went to medical school and did, 7-8 years of residency,
yeah,
right.
I didn't have a single nutrition course, and I just say I really didn't learn anything about health. I learned about diseases and how to suppress symptoms, using pharmaceutical medications, which may or may not make their disease worse and cause, other horrible problems. Yeah. So it wasn't until I started studying Ayurveda that I actually learned about how to create health.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we know it was better living through chemistry. Remember,
it used to
at
be
one
that
point,
way.
It used to be better living through chemistry.
Right.
Now I say things like it's about how you eat, how you move, and how you think.
Yeah, absolutely. In
health.
fact, what the research shows, because it's not, we always get plugged into food and everything, but actually your whole lifestyle from exercise is unbelievably important. The time you go to bed, 10 o'clock at night and getting up at 6 o'clock are considered the ideal hours, for sleep. And then our emotions. And our relationships have actually been shown to have more of an effect on our health and longevity than any other factor. So, I have women who do consultations with me where they're holistically bent. They may be normal weight, they do yoga, they meditate, and yet they develop some horrible disease like breast cancer. And they're like, why did this happen? And I'm like, well, how are your relationships? Ooh, And we just don't realize that our emotions actually are so powerful on us that most people, philosophically, that are in this particular area of natural health really recognize that underlying almost any disease, there's some emotional issue. And a lot of them are things that, cause your immune system to actually dip, because the stress of those emotions will, inhibit the power of your immune system.
That darn cortisol.
Yeah.
Can't live with it, can't live without it.
Right.
Well, in your book, as example, you've got the best method to lose weight. And let's see, there's 30-something. Let's see, there's 42. Is that right?
42. Oh,
no, it's more than that. It's 55. 55.
Yeah. Well,
55 ways.
I like to make things really simple for people, So it's like we put all this heavy information, and it does have all the research and everything in it, but it's really great to do a synopsis of just like, here's some simple things and practical things that you can do that'll really make a difference. So I have a lot of, different places and different chapters where I do that, a little helpful tips. And then at the very end of it, I have a 30-day program, which is basically taking the information in the book and putting it into practical use and very simple, to help you to really incorporate these things into your life.
Well, number 5 is for most men, and that is chew well and slowly.
Yes.
Most men don't do that, do they? Eat slowly.
That's right.
So
and
just a lot of
we're the surgeons, right? We would just devour stuff and no time to eat, right? Yeah.
Right. That's right. You got to inhale it. Seems like.
You get trained for that.
You were on Dr. Oz too, weren't you?
So he interviewed me on his radio show when he did this Sirius radio, and so and I know him. I've met him and know his family and everything. But so he interviewed me for that, and I've been on Dr. Mercola's site and did a video with him and Christiane Northrup and all sorts of.
Well, you had an award-winning book also called, if you haven't read it yet, it's Waking the Warrior Goddess.
Goddess, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all about the natural approaches to protecting against and fighting breast cancer, and it actually won the Best Health Book of the Year when it came out in 2005, and I've updated it 3 times, so it's in its 3rd edition because we've had so much, new information that comes out, so I try to really keep it up to date.
You could read this book in one weekend. It's not that difficult. I mean, you could. I mean, but you'd have to take notes because it's lots of good information here. But
right.
the program's only, it's a 30-day program. It's all 30 days, just 1 month. Do this program for 1 month. That'd be a big change, wouldn't there?
absolutely. And, the amazing thing, there's so many things about the human body that are amazing, but, what I've just been dumbfounded about is how incredibly responsive the human body is. So it can be that, if you do one healthy thing, for instance, you have a terrible diet and lifestyle, you do one healthy thing, you can cut your risk in half of breast cancer by doing one healthy thing. If you do more than one thing, those things multiply up together. They don't add up together. So it becomes incredibly simple to dramatically improve your health and protect against, various different diseases. And, another example is exercise. I mean, the studies we're getting with that where, they'll say all you have to do is exercise 1 minute or something, or 5 minutes a day jogging. And there's a 48% reduction in the incidence of cardiovascular disease. And it's like, are you kidding me? So I kind of do this funny thing where I think about, in the human body we have this inner healing intelligence. And, the inner healing intelligence I personified in my first book as the warrior goddess. But, she's just going, come on, man, give me anything, I can work with here.
Well, if you could run a mile in 4 or 5 minutes, then 1 minute would probably be good. That's all you need to do, right? if you do that. Most people don't want to do that. Right. Radiant Health, Ageless Beauty. What a great book. And you're on the front cover. That's enough to sell the book right there. Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Well, congratulations for the book.
Oh, thanks so much.
It's available at Barnes & Noble, or where's the best?
Everywhere, yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, if you want an autographed copy, you can get it from my website, which is drchristineHorner.com. That's DrChristineHorner.com.
Okay. Is Austin on your tour for the book?
I was just in Dallas, actually, and they taped it, so they're going to air it on ABC on Wednesday, the 25th. Is that right? Yeah, the 25th, I think.
Interesting. So is the audio version of your book available yet?
It is not.
Oh, we need to do that.
Yeah, okay. I'll get my vocal cords all, warmed up.
Well, you've done a great job on the show, and I appreciate it very much for you being on the show.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, write another book so you get back on.
What's that?
Write another book, or we'll just do this book again.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Another book.
All right.
Just came out.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Thanks a lot for being on, and
you're welcome.
We'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Thank you, Dr. Horner.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Don't go anywhere. Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail, brought to you by People's, Austin's favorite pharmacy. We'll be back in just a few moments. Thanks for listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370, brought to you by People's, Austin's favorite pharmacy. Call us live at 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-5483.
Well, welcome to the show. I'm going to try to pronounce this. It's Kura Bajaj.
Karan Bajaj.
Okay. I didn't have an N on it for some reason, but anyway. Karan Bajaj.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you, this is your third major book you've written, right? And they're all success.
First worldwide release. Yeah, first worldwide release though.
Right. And they're all successful. And this is going to be a bestseller for sure.
No, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it's a novel, but it's very deep and that's when you have a novel, and it's in the depth that you've got it here. Then it has impact on people's lives because there's a transcendence. It's transcending what you're trying to do, transcending people to think about life and where they are. Because you were not. Where you changed your whole lifestyle, didn't you?
Yes, I did go through a major reinvention, led to this novel as well. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell us what you did. You were, this is a story about Max Soros, a Wall Street banker, but you were involved with a lot of technology, weren't you?
Yes. So I have been in the marketing industry. So I worked with Procter & Gamble, then the Boston Consulting Group and Kraft. So I worked with different corporations. and I embarked on a 1-year sabbatical from craft and went on this kind of like a little bit of a pilgrimage of going from Europe to India by road and then spending 4 or 5 months in an ashram in the Himalayas in India, deepening my practice of yoga and meditation, and then again making the journey back. So the whole kind of thrust of the journey was to basically deconstruct layers of myself. So both physical, emotional, spiritual in every form. So the whole idea was that it was to be very goalless during the journey to some extent, and then also live in extremely austere physical conditions, so that I just didn't have any sense of identity left at all, that I'm a vegetarian, I like this, I like that. I just wanted to like deconstruct all of those layers and just go deeper and deeper within. So that was the whole thrust of the journey.
So your ultimate endurance is when you went to the Himalayas, the high Himalayas.
The whole, even Europe to India by road, the decision that my wife and I made was that we would take the cheapest mode of transport everywhere.
Your wife went with you?
Sorry?
Your wife went with you, huh?
Yeah. My wife and I went together, and we made the decision that we won't take a flight. So we didn't take a single flight. And the entire almost 3 to 4 month journey was austere in the sense that we stayed in either hostels or slept in train stations, or just kind of like pushed ourselves to not make decisions of comfort at all. And then, so that was kind of like I would say you're right in saying that was almost the easy part, because I've done physical endurance stuff before. In the ashram, living in India was hard because of many variables. One was a long time out of that was like a 30-day silent retreat. So there was 30 days of complete silence. And then you start to realize what a chaotic, turbulent place your mind is. And it's very hard to live with yourself during that period. And then subsequently, again, the discipline in the ashram, the segregation of men and women living separately, which was what happened to me and my wife as well for this 4 or 5 month period. Wow. And then just the level of just silence and the space that you have to introspect sounds wonderful, but it's actually very turbulent and chaotic when you're going through it.
Well, what you learned and what Max learned is that you learn to make sense of human suffering, because it is universal, right?
Yes, like as they say in Buddhism, the first noble truth is that life is dukkha, or life is suffering, or they could say almost life is anguish. So even if you don't have suffering in the form of like you don't have an arm or a leg or something like real suffering, but anguish is the nature of the human condition, that there's always going to be something, a feeling of something incomplete, something missing, some pain everybody will go through, and that's the nature of the condition, if you will.
Yeah, and you need to know that. And there was a popular book here a few years ago called The Road Less Traveled, and the first sentence in the book was, "Life is difficult." And that's what he learned in talking and interviewing lots of people that came into his office. He was a psychologist.
Kerouac, right?
No, his name?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I don't think it's Kerouac.
Scott Peck, I think.
Scott Peck.
That's right.
Peck,
yeah.
You were close. Yeah. But anyway, but life is difficult. And he found out if people understood that, then things fit together. Things worked out better. Because if you think that life is simple, you just sit around and watch TV all day or whatever, then it doesn't work. And there's a story about a young girl that got an aquarium for Christmas. And so she got some fish, and the fish weren't fed. It just fell apart. The fish, you could hardly see the fish. It was so dirty. And finally, the father said, these fish are going to die. They don't seem like they're doing very well. And she said, but Dad, they're happy. Well, he said, how do you know they're happy? And she said, because they're wagging their tail. So if it's kind of truism there, but in a way that's true. If people are wagging their tail and they're consuming, they're very materialistic or whatever, it doesn't mean that they're happy. Did you find that out in your travels?
Yes, absolutely. I think everybody, what we see from the surface is never the truth. I think everybody goes through some form of anguish or the other. I remember it was Viktor Frankl who wrote this wonderful book called Man's Search for Meaning, who said that suffering is like a balloon in a way. You it fills up completely. So whether your suffering is, oh, I don't have an like a real suffering as we think of it, like like a concentration camp or something, or your suffering is not having enough friends, which are completely different in the spectrum, but it's like a balloon, it just fills up your whole life. So I think everybody is like suffering in some level or the other.
Yeah.
Well, my co-host is a pain specialist, and so people need to understand that pain there's a reason why we have pain, and it's not necessarily so evil or anything, and so you can control it. That's okay within reason. Mm-hmm. But probably one of the worst diseases in the world is where your limbs just fall off, with leprosy, for instance.
Oh yeah.
And there's no pain.
None.
But it's a terrible condition to have.
Yeah.
So having pain and having some difficulty, which you explain in the book, and the book is called The Yoga of Max's Discontent. So why was Max discontented?
Actually, his there is like the physical reason, and then there's I guess the broader point that I was trying to make. His discontent is really at a very physical level. His questions about existence and why existence occurs reach like a burning point because of his background of living in the Bronx housing projects, seeing very kind of dominant form of suffering all around him because of the drugs and the poverty and the violence there, and then he kind of escapes that life and reaches success in the form that we think of it, like he's a banker at Wall Street. He's very successful in the conventional form. But his mother's death is a catalyst for him to start rethinking everything, realizing that he couldn't just like turn his face away from the reality that he grew up with. So his discontent is really at a metaphorical level, is the discontent of the human soul asking for what is the purpose of life in this seemingly meaningless kind of existence, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Did his discontent...
In an existence where you're born, that there is a timeline in which you'll go through illness and then you'll go through death. Mm-hmm. There is there's an innate need to answer what is it exactly that leads to an existence like that. So that's the broader metaphorical discontent if he has the lack of answers to that fundamental human question.
Did his discontent perhaps come from your own discontent, which is possibly what drove you to take your sabbatical?
Oh, yes. In many ways, I think all novels are emotionally autobiographical, even if they're not physically autobiographical, so they're emotionally autobiographical. I think the difference was that when you grow up in India, where I grew up, of course, you're just surrounded by a pain in its most drastic form, right? Because even I grew up in a very small town up in the mountains, but even me in a very idyllic town, if I was going from my home to school, I would see a beggar on the street without limbs, as you said, or I would see kids with no future at all because they didn't have parents. You would see very drastic forms of human suffering everywhere. When I was kind of trying to create this character, and I wanted it to be American who grew up in the U.S. because I wanted to approach India from the lens of a foreigner or from a lens of a stranger. I couldn't get it right because in the U.S. almost I feel is that your life becomes almost a little bit, you don't ask those questions often enough because you could be completely immune to it. Because, it's almost like the suffering and poverty has been shifted to a section of the city that you don't live in. So you don't ask those questions every day. So that's why I gave him the background of the housing projects in the Bronx and stuff, because without that everyday connection to pain, those kind of questions don't become very dominant the way they were for me, because I just grew up in an environment where they were all around me.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of shield ourselves, don't we, from
yes, I think you
from other people.
Just the way the environment is set up here is that you can shield yourself. Like sometimes when I live in Brooklyn now, there can be days that go by in which I'm so occupied with first world problems, if you will, just because I'm not exposed to. And it's not that it's not present in the U.S. It's all present. It's just not in front of your eyes. It's just kind of it's just separated out quite a bit. So you end up being shielded from it.
Well, as you notice, in this country, we try to go to gated communities and just shield ourselves from a lot of suffering that people are having. and we have quite a bit of it, but we don't know about it. It's not out there too much. But there's a lot of young people today that $400 and they're bankrupt. If they it's a serious thing that we face today. But we like to shield ourselves from that and disbelieve it almost sometimes. So because the politicians will tell us something different sometimes.
Often do.
Yeah. But what a great book, because I understand you've had a lot of people. You've already changed some lives, haven't you? You're hearing about it.
Yes, it's just been, the reviews have been very, very extraordinarily heartfelt and touching, which is very nice, especially for a novel, because you read these kind of reviews for non-fiction books that are meant to help, and I was really truly trying to tell a story in which whatever happens to the character without my presence as an author giving some kind of a message or hitting people over the head with a message. So in novels, you don't have that. You don't have that kind of reaction too often, right? Where people are like, my life changed because I was reading this story about some random character. But so it's been very heartening to see that kind of response.
So rather than do what you and your wife did, if you read the book, you'll experience it, right? Somewhat.
You're shielded.
but you have empathy a little bit for these people. We would for you and your wife, and which y'all went through to write the book. And it's good reading. Mm-hmm. It's good knowledge to know. Meditation, the value of meditation. Yoga teaches that, don't they?
Yeah. So, well, you do a vipassana meditation, right?
Yes, I think that's a wonderful thing that everybody should do. Mm-hmm. It's a 10-day silent retreat called Vipassana meditation.
Mm-hmm. Vipassana.
And it's very accessible now because there are many centers all over the U.S. as well as outside the U.S., and it's 10 days of complete silence, no communication at all, verbal or physical, or even through gestures. And you're just being trained how to meditate from 4 o'clock in the morning till 10 in the night with a few breaks in between. So you're actually sitting in meditation for 18 hours, among the toughest things that you would do.
Yeah.
The other part of it is that it's completely free. So those 10 days are paid for just by donations, and there's no pressure to pay. So for those 10 days, you are given free food, given a pretty comfortable accommodation. And that's very important to the core idea, which is that you become truly a monk with a begging bowl.
Mm-hmm. Well, folks,
we come for that.
We have to run, but we'll get the book, The Yoga of Max's Discontent. What a great novel. What great program. And you did a lot of research on this. You and your wife did, didn't you? I mean, you put your heart and soul into it. So get the book, folks. It's really good. And thanks for being on. Yes, real. That's right. We will get you back on if we can, okay?
Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, let's take a break.
Thanks for listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370. Brought to you by Peoples, Austin's favorite pharmacy. Call us live at 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-5483.
Hey, Dr. Ward.
Hey, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing better now that you're on the show. Yeah, because we always enjoy talking to you. You're in Dallas, aren't you? We were just trying to think of Dr. Cooper's name a while ago.
No, I'm not in Dallas. I'm in Tulsa.
Oh, my goodness. Boy, that was a bad mistake.
So close and yet so far.
We play our football games in Dallas. That's why I thought you were in Dallas, I guess. Right?
I'm in Thunder Country.
Thunder? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Well, and y'all done well this year.
They've done very well. They've just continued to progress excellently.
Well, you got one of our players up there that I watched it for a year or two till he went pro.
I knew you were going to take credit for something.
Right. Well, and like you don't. Right. No. Well, you work with a company that should take credit for what they do. It's a very good nutritional company.
Yes, sir.
Because I've got a bottle of liposomal vitamin C I brought along here, and it is so tasty. Whereas liposomal products that I've run across are not very tasty. Just take a swig of it. I've got a doctor with me today. Dr. Jimenez here in Austin.
How are you?
I'm well, and yourself?
Good. Getting a little vitamin C here.
There we go. We're going to talk about the value of
excellent source with the liposome.
We know liposomal is good for you. Doesn't it taste good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't taste nasty like some of the others.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's talk. You have a new liposomal coming out, don't you? That we didn't have in the store yet.
We've got several liposomals now, and the liposomal curcumin longa, I understand, is on its way to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we were just talking about, because we've had people, nutritionists, this man from India. We didn't talk to him about curcumin much, but we had a lady, Christine Horner, written lots of books and been on lots of shows talking about dieting and the value of longevity.
Right.
The book is about longevity, basically, and we were just talking about longevity. But I think curcumin is one of the secrets, isn't it, to longevity?
It sure is, and they put it in that liposomal form, and you're getting such a rapid release and positive absorption in the cells. It's amazing, the delivery system of liposomes.
Well, let's talk about that a minute, because as there's a doctor in Austin that says that, and he's done vitamin infusions, injections, things like that, and he says it's better. Liposomal is better because the vitamin C goes to your bloodstream, so you avoid the stomach and all, so you don't get the diarrhea and all. But the liposomal is actually better because it goes to the cell. Is that right?
Well, Thomas Levy, in the 5th chapter of his book, Curing the Incurable, says that exactly. He says if somebody is having severe problems, do IVs and liposomes in combination if at all possible. But if it's only one or the other, then liposomes is going to be the best answer. The whole key is it doesn't require energy. So the liposomes themselves will allow the absorption of the material as a carrier molecularly to not have problems with energy or antioxidant use that you don't want to deplete in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Well, now they're doing. I had a doctor, and I trusted him, but he put a light source up my vein on my arm for 4 days. Not for 4 days. Four sessions.
Treatments.
4 treatments.
Right.
Now they're saying light.
Ultraviolet light.
Ultraviolet light. It was red and 2 different spectrums. So,
well, speaking of light, there are some excellent light systems. I use a program called InLight Wellness Systems. And it's phenomenal. But the liposome themselves, without any energy source, allows the bonding with the molecule of cells and allows the infusion of that particular substance. In this case, we've been doing vitamin C and been doing glutathione. It's phenomenal in results.
Isn't that great? Because it's always been a problem. Well, taste was a problem, and now you've got it where I don't know how they do that, but somehow this particular company puts out really good tasting products.
Well, they're very diligent in all of their aspects, trying to ensure that the delivery system itself is good. But even if you have a great delivery system, if you can't get it past the palate, then it doesn't do a lot of good, does it?
Nope, it doesn't.
Liposomes themselves. Emic Blair is the proprietor of these liposome formulas for Numedica, and it dates back to a lot of people know Klimmer. Frederick Klenner was an MD back in the 40s doing vitamin C, and that's where a lot of Linus Pauling got his inspiration on vitamin C. And Emic Blair has these phosphatidylcholine and liposomal delivery systems just magnificently delivering that vitamin C to the system. So it's pretty phenomenal in what it's able to do.
So you just you can take like 10, let's say vitamin C, you could take 10 grams. It's 1,000 milligrams per serving.
It's 1,000 milligrams per spoon, and they call that a serving.
Yep.
And the key is to get the relatively small molecule like vitamin C is, to get it into the cell. The liposomal form itself can be used dosing as little as 30 minutes back-to-back or an hour back-to-back, and you're getting ultimate absorption. I've had as much as 10 grams at once, and you know as well as I, the biggest problem is bowel tolerance,
right?
Or bowel intolerance if you get too much of it. I've never had a problem dosing 8-10 grams at a time.
Well, 10 grams would be roughly 2 ounces, right? You drink 2 ounces of it at one time?
10 teaspoons.
Well,
10 teaspoons, 50 cc's.
It depends on what you're trying to support, Bill. You know as well as I, there's so many things out there that nutritionally we can support positively. Just for regular maintenance of somebody, I wouldn't recommend that amount. But if you're trying to support a major health malady, then most definitely I would increase that amount.
Well, I think cancer patients, a lot of times, they're grabbing for straws, trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
And I'd say if it doesn't hurt you, if it doesn't kill you like, some of the drugs.
It makes you stronger.
Right.
Because, the original drugs for cancer was mustard gas in World War I, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what they used.
Similar. Yeah.
Right.
Well, Thomas Levy, MD, in his book, Curing the Incurable, says, because of this, a sick, possibly toxic individual is best advised to receive vitamin C by both the oral liposome encapsulated route and the intravenous route whenever possible, unquote. So the research is out there for so many aspects of vitamin C, and now with the liposomal delivery system, we're able to help those health maladies that much more.
So the people that do IVs are still in business. I mean, there's a place for that too.
Well, I do them quite often myself, yes, sir.
Do you? Okay.
And I have patients use the liposome in between the IVs. So if we can hit it hard from all aspects, then we're giving the body the best opportunity to overcome whatever the problem is.
So you've been doing this a while. Is it fair to ask you, or if you don't want to say anything, that's okay. I realize, the FDA is probably listening. But have you gotten some results just, anecdotally? So we can say that
clinically,
this is not approved by the FDA, what we're saying, right?
Yeah, it's not approved by the FDA, but I can simply tell you clinically I've seen some phenomenal results with vitamin C therapies, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. There is nothing wrong with supporting an oncology patient with appropriate nutrition.
Absolutely.
Or acupuncture.
That's what
they're doing acupuncture.
That's what we do. We don't treat it. Right. We support them with nutrition.
That's all we're doing.
That's it. Is I'm just supporting nutritionally whatever I can help support.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's a wonderful, and the glutathione itself. I believe you all have the liposomal glutathione.
We do. We do.
That, as you know, glutathione is necessary in every cell. If we don't have glutathione, we die. So it's the primary antioxidant, and I've explained to patients for years and explaining in my anatomy classes trying to shove glutathione into the cells like trying to shove a bowling ball down a garden hose. It doesn't work very well, and IVs have been the only way we could administer it until we came up with a liposomal form. Emmett Blair's done a wonderful job because it's excellent.
Well, let's talk a minute about if we could, about glutathione. A lot of people never heard of it. So what do you see about glutathione? Strong antioxidant, for sure.
Glutathione is vitally essential in every cell of our body, and it as an antioxidant is kind of the traffic cop keeping everything running properly. If it's not enough in the cell, then the cells are weak, and the guardian, which are the electrons of the lipid bilayer, the guardian is kind of letting stuff in and letting stuff out lackadaisically, and the glutathione is kind of the traffic cop keeping all that operating well. When we have health malady problems, we get depleted in glutathione, and all we've been able to do in the past is either give it intravenously or stimulate the production inside the cell and hope for the best. But now with the liposomal glutathione, we've got a good, sure way to get it in the cell.
Well, those that are listening, we have this in the stores now. In fact, you'll get at least a 10% discount when you come in the store and just say you heard it on the show. But glutathione and vitamin C, you can do that together, right? Absolutely. They work hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And curcumin when it comes out. Right? Curcumin.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're all working hand in hand for those health maladies. But I tell people if they're really trying to support something severe, they can do vitamin C and glutathione hand in hand and dose as often as every 30 to 45 minutes on an empty stomach to get the best absorption But generally, I have patients taking a spoon every hour to support something, or just for maintenance, a spoon 2 or 3 times a day.
Very good. Yeah.
So a teaspoon of this liposomal vitamin C would be 5,000 milligrams. It's 1
milligram.
1,000, right?
1,000 a teaspoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So
1 gram per spoon.
If it was more concentrated, I guess it's interesting they don't make it more concentrated, I guess.
Well, it'd be hard for that taste factor, trying to get it past the palate.
I see. Yep, maybe so.
Plus, you'd have less ability to change your dose.
Okay.
If you didn't want.
So curcumin is going to be a similar dosage.
Yes, sir. And being the natural anti-inflammatory curcumin it's going to be phenomenal to when you guys get it in, to be able to support even that many more problematic issues.
So for anti-aging, which is kind of we're focusing on that today, anti-aging, rather than you can go to the Japanese diet and all kinds of things. You can and you can stand up and by the way, if you're shorter, you live longer.
Yeah.
So I guess you could cut your legs off a little bit or whatever. But
yeah, what are you trying to tell me? I got scars on my head running into stuff.
Right. That's why you say you don't live so long. So, but there's all kinds of theories about living a long time. A lot of people want to live longer today and healthy. Not just longer. We live longer, but we're not healthy.
I don't want to live longer. I want to live better.
That's it.
Right.
I want to be healthy along the way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that curcumin is such a positive anti-inflammatory. When you get it, it's great to inhibit synthesis of stuff that causes achy, painy stuff. And it's awesome in its delivery system, so you're getting good amounts in the system and a positive return for the amount you're having to take.
Well, there's no danger of this not meeting the approval of. There's so many. The FDA is jumping on pharmacists now because they're claiming that fluoride is a drug, and the FDA is saying no, it's not a drug. Well, they say it's not an approved drug. It's not approved. It's a drug, but it's not approved.
Right.
Well, it's okay to put in the water supply.
Yeah, it's okay to put it in the water supply. What was that? There was here a while back, there was a town where they had to call in hazmat teams because the fluoride barrel dumped when they were putting in the city water, and it was eating the concrete, and that's what we've got in our waters. Yeah. God bless.
Yeah.
But there's so much research, Bill. There's articles dating back in the 60s and 70s and 80s every year on characteristics of how the vitamin C and how the liposomal aspect, all of these are well researched. It's not just a fly-by-night thing that's come out.
Well, we were talking earlier about how fish in a fish tank could just be not fed properly and all kinds of toxins and all, and yet their tails are wagging, so they look like they're happy, right? For the average person looking at them. And that's somewhat, we have to, maybe that's an analogy for us if we're not careful. And so what do you do to protect yourself? Because you can't feel a lot of the problems. You have to, unfortunately, it hits you very insidiously when you get cancer or something. So what do you take? Do you take glutathione? And
I do. I take glutathione, and I take a lot of power greens that is antioxidants, 25 servings of fruits and vegetables. I do that. I do a good, clean protein, total vegan protein, and I drink water that's filtered as best I can. But the most important thing for any of that for me, Bill, is prayer. I pray a lot.
Right, and that's probably a good thing to do. So
good medicine. Right,
that's good medicine. Right?
Yeah, Larry Dossey.
Anti-aging.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the glutathione, curcumin coming out, maybe we'll make a list of things that people should be doing.
They've got liposomes coming down the pike. One of them is a phospholipid complex. I've been taking lecithin for 20 years anyway, sprinkling it on foods and taking a spoonful of lecithin, and that's They now are doing the phospholipid liposomal form, so that's even more. There's all kinds of research on atherosclerosis and cholesterol-lowering aspects, so when that comes out, that'll be exciting as well. Phospholipid is an awesome, or liposomals are an awesome delivery system no matter what they're delivering.
But you've got the research to back it up? You've seen the research, because you got to have that. Otherwise, we're going to have the FDA and government jumping on us.
Well, there's clearly, I keep referring to Levy's book because he's got over 1,200 scientific references in that Curing the Incurable book, and he's got a whole chapter on liposomes that I refer to quite often.
Curing the Incurable by Levy?
Curing the Incurable.
Levy?
Levy, correct.
Okay, yeah. That's good. I haven't read that book, so maybe that'd be good to read. So, because that's where we're facing right now, a lot of incurable things, right?
Yes, sir.
And I don't know how doctors do it. I mean, you've got people with so many problems, and when I talk to them as a pharmacist, because they're getting a lot of narcotics or and you name it, amphetamines. And when I talk to them, trying to figure out what they're doing, it's not a scam. I mean, there's legitimate prescriptions, but the doctors don't know what to do because they're just a mess.
Well, and it's so hard to figure out and sort out how to support them when they're so toxic from so many different areas of their life.
Right.
Not getting enough sleep. They're not drinking quality water or getting enough water. I've stood and lectured and said, if I can just get my patients to drink more water, I think I've improved their life.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
If we can get the liposomal forms to help support even more rapidly and quickly to make those changes, and they start feeling better, then they're more likely to make those changes, right?
Exactly. Well, here's obesity. In girls, there's a study linking food packaging chemicals to obesity in girls now, between 9 and 12 years old, BPA levels.
Yep.
Also, a lot of articles about BPA and childhood obesity.
So, and it affects the elderly as well. Bill, I've got an 84-year-old man that he came to me 2 weeks ago. His granddaughter told me that they were the healthiest. So they live in the country. They were extremely healthy in their lives, except the last 4 years they've got on a, quote, diet kick. So every food in their house, every drink in their house, everything they're ingesting now is diet, etc. And diet soda, diet food, diet program food, and they're the sickest they've ever been in their life. They've been healthy up until the last 3 or 4 years. There's a correlation.
Well, there is a study out. I know Dr. Jimenez and I've talked about it. You can Google it. Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, and water. The study showed, and Coca-Cola did the study, showed that Diet Coke is better than drinking water.
What?
Diet Coke is better than drinking water. I know. Everybody says that. Better than drinking water. And you can Google it. You can find the study. It's not that hard. In fact, they want you to find the study because there'll be some people who believe that.
It's got to be because of the stockholders, not because of the health.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can make a study say anything you want it to say.
I think I'd sell my stock though if a company did that. But there's lots of good studies on this, and Coach curcumin will be out. We'll probably have it in a couple of weeks. You think, or?
I think you probably ought to have it sooner than that.
Okay. Well, we've got it ordered. It just hasn't come yet. Yeah.
The study was by the American Beverage Association.
Wow.
Yeah. You found the study?
I found it.
It's easy, and there's multiple.
Yeah. But it got published in Obesity.
But if you just read the headlines and you don't read any further, you might say, well, my doctor told me to get off of it, but he's crazy. I'm going to stay on it. This stuff is good, better than drinking water.
Yeah.
It may be better than drinking water in some states.
In fairness, they didn't say it was better than water. They said it was better than water for weight loss, which I also don't buy. But there's another study that showed when they used the sweeteners, the rats gained weight. So.
Right. Well, and why they allowed Diet Coke to be on the outside of the can is interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
I always found it fascinating that why is it cheaper than water? I mean, do they take the Coke out? Have you ever noticed that?
Right.
Yeah, it costs more to buy water than it does to buy Coke.
Right.
Interesting.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It is interesting.
It's a good deal, at least, I guess. You get extra stuff for free. Man.
Well, Dr. Ward, we got to take a break here. We always enjoy talking to you, but we get in trouble because we're just too interesting.
Well, Bill, it's always a pleasure.
Yep. So we'll think about you during the football games, okay?
Okay. Only if we're winning. Think about me only.
I will. Yeah, I will. And you come to Austin.
I'll do it. I keep going to be done at one of these days.
Yeah, and we're going to. We'll give you an audience. You like to talk to audiences? We can do that.
Yeah, if y'all win too much, now we're going to send you a case of Diet Coke.
Yeah, reward. All right. Okay. Well, thanks again, Larry.
Have a blessed
Good to talk with you, Dr. Ward.
You too. Okay. Bye-bye. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail, presented by Peoples, Austin's local holistic pharmacy. We'll be back with more cutting-edge news and health and wellness in a few minutes. Thanks for listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370, brought to you by Peoples, Austin's favorite pharmacy. Call us live at 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-5483.
Well, hey, folks, welcome back to the show. This is Bill Swail, and the show is called Let's Get Healthy. When we say let's get healthy, from my standpoint, it's me included. Let us get healthy. Mm-hmm. We're learning. You're learning too, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Dr. Ray Jimenez?
Yeah, you got to learn something every day.
Yeah.
That's important to stay healthy.
That's right. That's right. And I just learned a source from this. I don't want to say who it is, but there's a big barbecue place here in town that's buying their meat from a certain vendor. I know the vendor, and they don't sell good meat.
Uh-huh.
They're factory farms.
Uh-huh.
So if you know the source of where the meat comes from, you probably wouldn't buy it because the way they treat the animals.
Yeah, I think that's really important. I don't have any problem with animal protein and eating that. It's what we do with it. What's in it, whether it's an antibiotic or hormone or some kind of other thing that is in there that doesn't belong in there. I think that's a big deal. So I think you should try to get, if you're an animal protein eater, which I think we are physiologically, but if you are, you should try to get the best you can get, the cleanest you can get, because it is true that animals do concentrate these things in them. It takes a whole field to make the cow, and the cow's got the content of the whole field.
Right.
So, yeah, I think you should get the cleanest you can get. And it's just better for you.
It's very interesting, too, that grass finished. All cows are grass fed, so they'll mark it well.
Yeah.
Oh, this is grass fed cattle, but they
need to be finished.
They're finished on grain a lot of times, and that's not what cows are meant to be fed.
Yeah.
And they're given antibiotics, and most all the antibiotics and trouble we're having today is because it's not the antibiotics that pediatricians gave, although that's probably part of it. It's what you eat, the meat you eat.
Yeah, and the effect that can have on the microbiome. I mean, they're looking right now at the microbiome, and this can produce huge effects on the gut itself. And we do know that, if we look at the literature going all the way back to Hippocrates, he said all disease begins in the gut. And we're looking at the things right now, the so-called leaky gut. This is a big problem. This is why everybody's looking at probiotics now and prebiotics and that sort of thing.
Well, you wonder how you could do that? 2,000 or 3,000 years ago or more?
Well, they ate different foods. Like right now in the United States, eating organ meats is kind of like, in quote, gross. People don't want to do that, but we know all primitive cultures that have done well ate organ meats. That was part of the diet. In South America, there are still certain tribes when they take down an animal, the first thing they do is they'll take the liver, and then that's given to the young women because it's sacred food. And it's sacred food because it's so full of nutrients and everything. They're worried about the survival of the tribe. And the survival of the tribe will depend on the children they have and the health of these children. So they want those women to have the best nutrients they can get. They make sure they get the liver, the kidneys, the spleen.
And there's in this country, And
we throw it away.
Well, what's interesting, just the opposite is happening here because the umbilical cord just fill. They've even counted the number of toxins.
Yeah.
It's under. I think it's under 100, but it's a lot of toxins.
Yeah.
And the BPA, what the BPA is doing with these plastics and all, and we don't even know what's going to happen.
We don't even know. We don't even know. There's so much going on. I mean, we're at the tip of the iceberg.
We have a pretty good idea about Diet Coke.
I'm not saying.
Right, but anyway, it's a lot of doctors get upset about it, and it's hard to get women to get off of it.
Sure, it is. Yeah,
because it's somewhat aspartame could be addicting.
Yeah,
we don't know, but it could be.
Could be. Anything can be.
Right. Anything that tastes good.
Well, anything that does taste good or has an effect on you that is, sort of a positive kind of effect. I don't want to make too much out of that word positive, but anything that's going to cause surging of dopamine in the brain can become addictive. You don't even need a drug to be an addict. I mean, you can have an addiction to shopping or gambling.
Can you have addiction to sugar?
You can have an addiction to sugar. There's no question about that. Yeah. It is a white crystalline powder, and it does produce dosage escalation, tolerance, dependence, addictive behavior, withdrawal syndrome. It's an interesting substance. It has no nutritional value, really. There's no nutrients in it or vitamins.
Bergamot oil, that's pretty useful, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be kind of calming, bergamot oil.
Italians have it.
Yeah.
And they sell it quite a bit.
We have it here. We get it in essential oils. They'll have bergamot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But nothing in a food that we know about.
No, I don't see that too much. Okay. I don't know what food would have that. I don't know. Yeah. You mentioned earlier this subject of anti-aging. We were discussing with Dr. Horner and Dr. Ward, and the way that I end up looking at anti-aging, I don't like using that term. Actually, I know it's a popular term, but I don't.
It's against aging, anti-aging, anti-drugs,
against aging, but I don't think you can turn back the clock. I think what you can do is live better. You can be healthier, and you can actually improve your health from what you were. I feel like I'm doing better now than when I was 20. Because of the changes that I've made in my diet and my exercise and then the way I think and everything. Aging, on the other hand, is something that's cumulative damage. So if you can reduce the damage, and this is why they always talk about antioxidants and that sort of thing, if you can reduce that damage, then you don't have that cumulative damage, and that is what aging is. I think nowadays you see chronological aging, the years, is not the same as physiologic aging. I have people that are 40 years old that seem to be going on 1,000, and I have other ones that are 40 years old that seem to be going on 20. So I think it has a lot to do with letting your body do what it's supposed to do and giving it the nutrients and the materials that it's supposed to have. I think that's more important than anything you can do. We talked earlier, we said, it's really about how you eat, how you move, and how you think. And, everybody in this country could do a little bit more of a meditation, like Dr. Bajaj was talking about. We run this machine with the pedal to the metal all the time. Sometimes it'd probably be a good idea to let the motor idle. We have this
or just shut it off.
Well, I don't want to shut it off entirely, but we do need to let it cool down, because we're in fight or flight all the time. The opposite of fight or flight is stop and heal. And if you're always in fight or flight, you're telling your body, don't bother to heal. Don't bother to digest. Don't bother to make hormones. Why? Because you're about to be eaten and you need to get out of Dodge. And that's what this fight or flight system is for. So it shuts down everything else so you can get away and live to another day, And if you don't shut that process down, then what ends up happening is you basically don't heal, you don't make hormones. And this is what we're seeing. We're seeing people that are chronically stressed, and this system is just being fired off all the time, and our stress response systems are going into fatigue or even failure. And if we can stop that by saying, wait a minute, let's get out of this fight or flight, and let's, stop for a little. The parasympathetic system is what we're trying to look at. And when you do things like meditation, you go into parasympathetic dominance, and your system, the heart rate slows down, the blood pressure goes down, digestion gets better, repair is better. So your system can work, and this leads to a stronger immune system. And I think Dr. Ward was even talking about that and hinting that, one of the most important things you can do is make sure you got good immunity. So a lot of things we can do.
Right. Knowing, I think balancing, you've got to have some stress.
You have to have some. Right. Otherwise, the system will get weak from not responding to anything.
Yeah.
So you do have to have some, and your system is designed to go into fight or flight every once in a while, just not constantly.
Well, here's a study that says this new study suggests that about 20 to 40% of cancer cases and about half of cancer deaths could potentially be prevented through the modification and adaptation to a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers would really be. I think it's very hard to predict, but I think it's absolutely correct.
Just a healthy lifestyle could prevent cancer.
When you think about what we were just talking about, if you can slow down a little bit, let the motor idle, do a little meditation, get rid of some of these sugar, starches, and grains even, and eat a nice, healthy, natural diet and everything, your body can do what it needs to do, and it doesn't get insulted, so it has the time to build an immune system. It's been said that you get a little cancer every day of your life. Every day of your life, one of the cells in your body will go haywire, if not many. But with a competent immune system, you pick that up, and your immune system identifies these cells and says, you guys got to go. You're not right. We're going to make some that are right. These are defective cells. And so your immune system goes and takes them out. Then one day it comes along, we to get a dip in the immune system for whatever reason, stress or diet or whatever. And when that dip in the immune system occurs, those cells are able to propagate and get to be more and grow. And pretty soon they reach a point when they have a critical mass that the immune system can't handle anymore. And then that grows into a mass, and then that's what we call cancer. But those things are happening all the time, and our immune systems are picking them up and doing better. You look at people with deficiencies in the immune system, they have higher rates of cancer. So, if you want to prevent that, and that's looking at it in general, a lot of people are going to say, what kind of cancer? What are we talking about? They're all different. But all of it is the body's response to chronic irritation or some sort of thing like that. Cancer is you. It is part of you. It is your own cells. But the mechanisms for control have gone haywire. And so normally we need to take those out. And
there's lots you can do even when they determine.
There's lots you can do. Right. And that's a healthy lifestyle.
Right. So we were talking, I was talking to you, I think when I went to see you the other night, about ginkgo biloba.
Yeah.
And how that works.
Yeah. It's a fascinating herb. It's comes from a tree, one of the oldest trees that we know of that's still managed to be around and not be extinct. And it has interesting properties. It seems more than anything to be a flow drug. It's an antioxidant, but it enables flow to occur in blood without necessarily altering, pressure or anything. So when you take ginkgo, it doesn't necessarily lower your blood pressure. More than anything, it normalizes it. But blood flow to a brain that's got a lot of atherosclerotic plaquing or vessel disease to the brain, sort of heart disease of the brain, that's where we get strokes. When you can get better blood flow in, your brain does better. And that's why we think that ginkgo is really more of a, helping memory, helping you to think better, cognitive improvement. It's more that you're getting better blood flow there. So sometimes younger people, they'll take ginkgo and they'll think they'll be smarter with it. And sometimes doesn't work so well, and they think there's something wrong, but there's nothing wrong. It really works.
So it's good to take ginkgo.
Ginkgo's a great herb to take, and evidence so far looks like you can take it pretty much ongoing, and it's not something you want to just do here and there.
Okay,
it's a good one to take ongoing.
Well, we're gonna list some. We got to take a break here in about a minute, but just before we take a break, I'm gonna list some things you can do. Food, but let's just start with beverages. Water. Just drink pure water.
Your body's about 60-70% water. Makes sense.
Don't drink juices, things like that. A lot of
body's not asking for that. It's asking for water.
Yeah, and your skin looks better and everything. You minimize wrinkles. We're talking about, Dr. Horner talking about how
hydration.
Hydrate. Right.
Yeah.
Green tea is also shown to lower the risk of heart disease and cancer.
Yeah.
When you consume it 3 times a week.
Again, antioxidants, polyphenols, things like that in green tea that are very good for you and help
weight loss. If you do it every day, you lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay. Coffee, which can be harmful because you add sugar to it.
Depends on which week. I think coffee comes in and out. But there's properties in coffee. The worst part of coffee is, again, what you just said, is what we're putting in it.
Well, it's been shown, research shows it lowers the risk for type 2 diabetes. Now, this is coffee that's black. In fact, the blacker,
the better.
The darker, the better. Parkinson's disease, dementia, stroke, and certain cancers.
Yeah.
So coffee is not bad.
Yeah.
And then wine, resveratrol, we know that red wine can help your health too. So those kind of things.
Yeah.
We're going to talk other foods.
And all of them. You can do too much. I mean, you don't want to drink, 4 bottles every night of red wine trying to get resveratrol. You're barking up the wrong tree. Probably the alcohol will come back on you. But
you might sleep too long.
But if you're going to drink a wine, I advise people drink a red one because at least you're going to get some resveratrol.
That's right. Well, we got to take a break here. It's that time. And then we got a guest coming up. And so let's take a break. The Farm to Girl, Kim, the Farm to Girl lady. We're going to talk to her. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
More cutting-edge health information is right around the corner. You're listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370. Brought to you by Peoples, Austin's favorite pharmacy. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Talk 1370. Brought to you by Peoples, Austin's favorite pharmacy. Call us live at 512-643-LIVE. That's 512-643-5483.
Welcome back to the show. We have Kim with us. Is that true, Kim?
That is true. Hi, Bill.
How are you doing?
Hi, Kim.
I'm doing well. How are you?
The product is called Farm to Girl. And normally we don't talk about products on the show that much, but this is not an infomercial because I'm not paying you. You're not paying me. This is information people need to know about because we were talking about anti-aging. And this is, you have anti-aging products, don't you, for the skin?
Yes. We actually are one of the few in the U.S. That have marula. And it is, I'm a scientist. I work all over the world for NASA. And one year I was in Namibia, and some of the local ladies were talking about different things they use on their skin, and they used them for years and hundreds of years in Africa. And one of those was marula. And most people don't even know what that is, and I didn't at that time. And now it's sort of become very popular and sort of the rage in in Europe and other places. But it is marula oil, and it's got about 60% more antioxidants than argan oil. And it is extremely light. It's delicate. And it really works. And so we incorporate that into we sell the raw oil, and we also incorporate it into what's called the fountain of youth. And that is a skin cream. It has coconut oil, and it has marula oil, and women pretty much rave about this. And actually, the Texas Oncology Group has actually started using this for women after radiation for breast cancer because they find that it seems to really help recovery from some of the damage, so redness and some of those things. So I feel it's like a little miracle oil, and we get it directly from some of the Namibian women's co-ops, and we work with them. We've worked with them, and we return 20% of our profits back to them. Like last year, I went on a donation trip, and that provides scholarships to some of the girls in the villages where these women are hand-making this amazing oil.
So let's think of some things you could use this for. Let's say somebody has acne.
Yeah, so basically we recommend that we have several different products. One is called the Miracle. That is a blend of marula and zinnia oils, and they're both anti-aging oils. And we recommend that you do a couple different things. Like in Texas, it gets a little warm in the summer, so we recommend the Miracle in the summer when it's hot, maybe starting off the day, and you use very little bit of it. But it works to remove blemishes. It works to remove sort of any kind of funky skin blemishes, redness, to kind of give you an even tone. And then what we also recommend is that at night you either I use the raw oil on it. I use the raw oil, morning, night, day. And then we recommend either for deeper hydration, we recommend the fountain use, or then later, you can kind of use a combo. It's sort of we like to recommend sort of testing, what works best for your skin, and it may change, as the seasons change.
Now, Kim, this is Dr. Venice. You got to tell me a little bit about the Himenia oil, because guess what? It's spelled exactly the same as my name.
No, it isn't.
It is.
It's very, it's very unusual.
Yeah, my name is the same. It's Jimenez, and this is
way.
Himenia.
That's a first for me.
I got to know more about this oil now. So.
Okay, well. The Zinnia oil, we usually incorporate that into like a jelly, and that is really well known. It's a plant. The Zinnia jelly comes from a plant in Africa. The marula oil comes from the marula nut tree, which actually it's a fruit, and those basically elephants love them. It's just a very well known anti-aging oils, and also for Zinnia jelly, also for burns. And for a lot of our customers use the Zinnia jelly, and they can mix it either with shea or coconut to help eczema, to help burns, to help problem skin more so than even the marula. But it's a little thicker. It's almost jelly-like compared, or it's viscous. It's very viscous like honey compared to the marula oil, which is extremely light.
Is the fruit eaten? Other than elephants? I mean, people are eating.
Yeah, it's made into a liqueur in South Africa. It's very well known over there. It's sort of like the rooibos plant. I mean, I get exposed to a lot of this stuff because, I'm a scientist. I kind of traipse around the world. I work in the Solomon Islands. I work in Africa. I work in Micronesia. And many of the home remedies that they've been using for a very long time, whether it's sunscreen for anti-aging or baby care, we don't still even today don't have access to a lot of that. And so when I first brought out marula oil, some of my girlfriends were like, well, what is this stuff, And now it's becoming very well known, other more larger chains are starting to carry it at the high end. And we try to keep it reasonable so that, everyone can use this. It's really beautiful. And for me, a lot of it is about these benefits and that it's a natural alternative, but it's also, for me, a lot about helping the women that are producing these oils. I started this company to help women in small villages where I work a lot, where my husband works as a marine biologist.
So let's talk about that real briefly. Some of the profits go to help these poor people in certain villages in Africa, right?
Yes, we are dedicated to not only fair trade, so we work directly with small villages and women's co-ops to sort of buy, to identify and buy their raw ingredients, but we want to do a lot more than that. So we for example, the Namibian Miracle, we work with some small green women's-run businesses to obtain some of that, but we also give back 20% of our profits in Solomon Islands to help women's clinics. In Namibia, we just finished a donation trip that provided scholarships to girls in these co-ops to study science and conservation and health. So we're really about, paying it back and about women helping women around the world. Women in the U.S. helping each other, but also kind of a connector between women of different cultures to kind of get those dual benefits from each culture.
Well, it's a great oil, and we're going to get this in the store. I'm not sure if any stores have it yet, but when we do, when we get it, we got to let people know about it first.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing, and it's not well known yet.
Great. Okay.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate
thank you.
it.
We're going to get you back on. We can talk about some more. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay, Kim. Well, thanks a lot for being on.
I got to get some of this oil.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, we'll all be pretty, won't we? Okay.
Yeah, we'll all be pretty.
Yeah.
And I'll send some Zinnia to you, so because that's a pretty impressive coincidence.
That is interesting. It was. I just flipped it up on the internet. It was named after a Francisco Jimenez, a monk. So maybe even a relative. How about that?
We got to run, Kim. Thanks a lot for being on. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Let's Get Healthy with Bill Swail on Austin's Talk 1370. Tune in again next week, Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. for more cutting-edge health news and wellness information from People's, Austin's favorite pharmacy.